Hello and welcome to this video. We're going to do a book talk for both Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. I tandem read this, so we will talk about them together. I gave this book a 2.5, same as Queen of Shadows, and this one was a 1 star. If Empire of Storms was not so good, I don't think I could have got through it as fast. I'm like, Cheyenne, 2.5, yes. I think most things are good in comparison to Tower of Dawn. This book was bad. This book is bad. It's so bad that the fandom decided that, no, you have to read it with a second one for you to get through it. This book has so much imagery and having also nothing happen. You can tell that this was supposed to be a novella and was added onto. This book does not read like a full book. 3-act structural who? 3-act structural whale. This is a novella that grew with world length that it really shouldn't have. Now, I'm not saying anything that's controversial or hot water. I am saying something where it is tap water with ice cubes in it. I gave this book 1 star because I thought Acromath was so bad, I gave it 0.75. And this book is better than Acromath. 2.5 for me for Empire of Storms, same as Queen of Shadows. 2.5 is not necessarily bad. It is actually better than Better and Black, in my humble opinion, of course. My least favorite chapters were Aelin. I found whole chapters to be very boring. Everyone else I did enjoy being around. Even Adeline. You know, if Aelin wasn't there, of course you might be like, well, Cheyenne, so you just didn't like the main character? I didn't like the main character both. Something about me in Queen of Shadows, I said this potentially, if I remember correctly, is I found Aelin and Kale to be very annoying. That didn't change. Let's get into spoilers here. Oh my gosh, this book is so bad. At one point in both books, though, the paragraphs disappear and it's only just one line. 4 chapters, 400, and I'm like, well, that's why this book is so long, is because paragraphs all of a sudden do not exist here. I think what Tower of Dawn and editor should have, been like, you have so much scenery, and you know what? This doesn't come into play. Chekhov's gun who? Again! Things just don't come into play. Now, I'm not saying it's not necessary to have Tower of Dawn. What I will say is this is a novella that very easily and very quickly became not a novella because it seems like she was very appealed to the idea that he would be able to heal things that happen with Empire of Storms. Now, here's the thing, that's been storyline I think didn't really matter. Oh, she got an alliance? Okay, could she not have done it a different way? Could we not hear about it in a different way? Oh, but they broke up. They didn't have like a couple since Queen of Shadows. They didn't have like a couple at a single point in this time. I understand that Carol was being a bit rude. However, he is disabled because of something that happened to him, because of an injury. That's not an old thing. He just now got severely injured. He now has to live life in a way that he never thought he would. He has to go through now all the ableism that he either didn't know he had or didn't care to know that he had. So, and he's probably in a lot of pain. So I understand that that is his character arc, right? So because of that, I'm not going to get really upset with him for being rude, because I understand and sympathize for his character. I thought it was very interesting finally getting to see the father-son duo. I also think it's very fair for Adeline to be like, I don't want you around me. Why are you trying to talk to me? That I completely understand. Very valid. I did enjoy this scene immensely though, and I was just like, why are we not getting to this scene yet? Aelin is a tyrant. She actively is, and I don't think that she should rule. If you are okay with someone being very violent and tyrannical, and it is either you're gonna do what I say or you're gonna be turned to ash, you won't be able to have peaceful protesters. That's a dictatorship. Yeah. So it makes sense, and I agree with the aristocracy being like, no. And I did like to see, even for a short period of time, the political tension that is, well, we don't allow you to rule. You're thinking this monarchy is a different kind of monarchy than it is, and we have powers, we have some sort of checks and balances, and I like to see that. So I'm not that upset with whole getting tension. Now, I have one more book, Kingdom of Ash, in this series, so I'm very interested to see how she gets this when she is a tyrant, when she is trying to be a dictator. One might say, well, she's trying to be queen with absolute power, and the people there are saying you actually have checks and balances that you do have to do. Loichen and Elide reminded me a lot of Six of Crows, Matthias, and Nina. So I couldn't unsee it. You're like, Shane, that's not what was happening. That was all that I could see, and I could not look past it. Queen Maeve being Queen of the Law, Queen of the Demons, I'm not shocked. It wasn't there this whole thing about being like, what is the difference between the two? So between at least either like Fae or Witch, I can't remember which one it is. At this given second, I was wrong, of course, with the Nesrin and Kaol idea that they were going to be together. That was on me. However, I didn't know that in Tower of Dawn it was going to be Irene. I didn't know that. It was the kind of the thing. She's making threes very important, which makes sense. It's very important for fairy culture customs, right? Threes are, and also for witch cultures, right? Threes are very important. How she messed up the three by giving us 3 Vogue kings, but then a Vogue queen. That's 4. If she wants to then give us 3, she would need to give us 2 other queens, but that's 2 groups of 3. She would need us to give us actually 5 other Vogue royalty for it to be 3 groups of 3. So let's see how that one works. The 3 bell system, listen, listen now, and get out. Yes, I feel if you have a bell that says listen and one that is listen now, that is reductive and is unnecessary. It does remind me of maybe she just really wanted the whole Night's Watch 3 horn system. I can't look at that and not think that, because the 3 bells do not actually indicate 3 different things. The recapping is wild. Once you had the novellas always being recapped, and I'll be like, what would even need the novellas, and now she has a huge paragraphs of just explaining what Elide to Loichen and Loichen to Elide, their backstory. It's like, we already know this. Why are we getting this huge pages of backstory? I will say this here, okay? I said this on TikTok, I'll say it here. Tower of Dawn makes me understand why people would only read dialogue. It makes me understand that, because so much of the dialogue in Tower of Dawn is not, of the prose is not necessary. It's just describing things that will never come into play in this book. That makes sense. People are going to feel like, it's like, okay, do I really need to read it? I am not saying I only read dialogue. I had the realization while reading this book, oh, that's why people do it, because of things like this book. Because it is so bad, and then maybe people think, oh, well, I was able to do it in Tower of Dawn, potentially. Maybe I can do it in other books, which don't only read dialogue, please. You should probably read it all. I'm saying I understood what people did reading it. That's how bad this book was, in my humble opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, so much so that they had to make a tandem read for it. And people refuse to reread it. They read it once or they read scenes. So I know for sure that my take on Tower of Dawn is the most, like, again, actually no, waddle out of the fridge with ice cubes. Actually, no, I think it's just ice. It's just the petrified water at this point, is my take on Tower of Dawn. I think what everyone else has for their thoughts of Tower of Dawn, because this book, oh my gosh, it was so bad. So that's my thoughts and opinions of both Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn. Hey, look, I read them together. I thought I'm going to review them together. I am now on Aquaboy. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Goodbye.